get your attention, please. Hi, thank you so much for joining. We are going to be recording tonight so that we can share this. This is not live streamed, but it will be going on our YouTube channel. I'm Kate Schumacher. I'm co-chair of the League of Women Voters. I'm an Eagleton Fellow of 2024, and I would like to welcome you to our educational March series. This month, we are highlighting our local leaders in our forum that we're calling Understanding Local Government. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan grassroots organization working to protect and expand voting rights to ensure everyone in our country is represented in our democracy. We empower voters and defend democracy with advocacy, education, and litigation at the state, local, and national level. The League of Women Voters of Lawrence Township encompasses the municipalities of Lawrence, Trenton, Ewing, Hamilton, New Jersey. Our communities are active in many areas, including registering new voters, new citizens, and moving forward with our state reparations committee and advocacy. I would like to thank the Lawrence Library for their partnership for this wonderful event tonight. And hosting us up and spreading this message in our community. I'm very gracious thank you to all of our guests for coming out on this rainy night to talk with us. We're going to be sharing our recording, and we're going to have a chance to invite you all if you have any questions. Tonight, as I said, we're focusing on understanding local government through the lens of local leaders. I will ask questions to our guests, and we welcome the room to engage with our discussion as well. This is a forum, if you're familiar with the league, so there's no timekeeper. We're going to be a little bit looser tonight, but we're going to move through some questions to help understand how our government is shaped and how citizens can play a role in it. That sound good for everybody? Yes. Awesome. So now I would like to welcome our guests. Come on in. We're still having some people join. We're welcoming Patricia Farmer, Mayor Patricia Farmer, Trenton Councilwoman Crystal Feliciano, Board Member Michelle Bose, and Chair of our Environmental Committee and Planning, Annette Loveless. All of our guests were chosen tonight because they have a close connection with the league, and we very much thank you for them. So with that, from Trenton Waterworks to Lawrence Township referendum, local politics plays a large role in our everyday lives. This conversation that we're having tonight is modeled after my work with the Rutgers president, Jonathan Holloway. I was his teaching assistant in his Burn seminar, Citizenship, Institutions, and the Public. That seminar focused on ways to bring decision makers, esteemed guests, policymakers to common public experiences to break down our traditional barriers of engagement and attempt to thoughtfully engage discussions about our current political topics. For most of us, our country is changing in ways that we are still wrestling to understand. So engaging in local politics is something that's very near and dear to the League's mission. So tonight, we thought we would start with having this great discussion with our local leaders to try to bridge that gap. So I have a series of questions that are prepared, but again, we'll have some time to talk about some specifics at the end. So, in the spirit of nonpartisan politics and understanding our local government, I want to give you each an opportunity to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about what inspired you to pursue a leadership role in local government.
And introduce yourselves.
And introduce yourself, of course. Patricia.
Thank you for that, and thank you to the league for having us and having this discussion. It's more important now than ever to have community engagement. As we said, my name is Patricia Hendricks. I'm a longtime resident of Lawrence Township, which is most of my life, I realize now, 15 years. My family's been in Lawrence since the late 1930s, where my great-grandmother came from Virginia. And my interest in government really started at a young age at the kitchen table. I'm the youngest daughter of 7 children, and there was much debate and conversation about politics, race, religion, and current events in my family. The first president I remember, and soul, is Jimmy Carter. When I was a little girl, I even had a little golden peanut necklace. Both of my parents have been advocates for education. Again, they ensured that all of their children went to college. Four of my siblings attended Lawrence High School, and my son currently attends the high school as well. I'm a graduate of Temple University. I have a Bachelor of Arts, Journalism, with a focus on public relations. Fun fact, I actually studied dance professionally and considered a career in professional dance. So, situated. So I'm still a lover of the arts and a passionate supporter of the arts. I was elected to the Lawrence Town Council in 2024, the 2024 term, and I was appointed by my fellow council members to be the mayor. Prior to that, I was on the Lawrence Township School Board for 3 years and served as president for 2 of those years. During the 100-year pandemic, which was a very exciting time on the board, which I shared with Michelle and I served during that time. And I am also an elected committee woman in the 3rd district here in Lawrence. During my college years, I was very active in student government, social and civic issues. As mayor, there are 3 areas of focus that I'm interested in. They are supporting local businesses and developing relationships with existing businesses, and making Lawrence Township an attractive place for businesses. Our economic strength for our small businesses and thriving Route 1 corridor, which we're all familiar with. Education is the second pillar that's really important to me as a mayor, and that's supporting our educational institutions and also educating the community of the rich history of our township. I'm really especially interested in the Revolutionary and Civil War history that runs through our town. We are currently working on the designation of a historical marker here on the Louisville Road that will mark the location of the first 3 African descendants to live in Lawrenceville, dating back to the 1800s. And also hoping to look at that and maybe be a part of the Black Heritage Trail that the state has done. The other third part, which goes back to my passion for the arts, is I'm looking at creating a New Jersey film and motion picture, working with the state in creating a film-ready designation for Lawrence Township, bringing the marketing and economic development opportunities to our town. As the governor stated in his address, this is a growing industry in New Jersey, will be in Lawrence as well. But the development of Netflix has really impacted, and not to mention Mercer County has been home to several movies and filming. My councilwoman here can attest to that. And also looking at the 250th anniversary of our country. Just to end that, I come from a PR, communications, banking, nonprofit, and educational background, all of which are working together for these days. So thank you.
We're going to be Crystal. Okay.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. My name is Crystal Feliciano, Councilwoman at Large in the city of Trenton, immediate past president. I bring you greetings tonight. It is so good to see you on this wet night. Are any of you from the city of Trenton? Okay. Okay. Hold room and see what I'm dealing with. Thank you. I am no stranger to Lawrence at all. I was a Girl Scout troop leader for 7 years for the Girl Scouts of Central Southern Jersey. My daughter went to Lawrence High for 1 year. My family grew up out on Eggers Crossing Road, but the Ewing side, but they hung out the Lawrence side, 421 Eggers Crossing, we're right there. It is there. So, but I have a great love for Lawrence as well. So I'm a teacher leader at Trenton Central High School. I love the children. I love to educate other people. I love being a councilwoman. I love helping my city and the residents. Why did I get into politics? Because change was needed in the city of Trenton. I didn't like the way things were looking. I didn't like the landscape of the leadership that we had in position. I am not a politician by no means. I have no desire to lie, cheat, or make any deals with anybody. I'm not going to jail. It's not. A lot of places, but jail ain't one. But I use the political platform to allow me to make change, to help people. And that's what it's all about. Trenton needs help. We're the capital city. I feel like a lot of times we are overlooked as the capital city. I feel like our hands are tied in many ways that they should not be. And I feel like the team that we have in place now, we're working with the administration to move Trenton in the right direction, right? No, everybody doesn't always get along, but that's not everybody's business either. We are mature enough and adults enough and professional enough that we can have the conversations that are needed to be had, that we can agree to disagree. But the one thing that we all agree on is that we want the best for the city of Trenton. So I'm honored and blessed and pleased to be able to serve in the capacity in which I do. I have a wonderful daughter. Her name is Gianna Monet. She is amazing. She and I both graduated from Georgian Court University many years apart. So, and so what's funny is, for as shy and laid back as she is, like, we are total opposites. It's amazing. I didn't even think she was my kid. She actually, when she graduated student government president of the university. She graduated the president of the Black Student Union. She graduated psychology honors society. She really did her thing. Why is that significant to me? When I went to Georgia Court University, that time, I was one of 9 Black students that were on campus. And while we were in position and served in capacities to say that to want to be the student government president, that just was not a thing. Yeah, you could serve and be on student government, but you had to be here. You couldn't be here. And so to have it come full circle and to see my daughter for knowing what I went through and what I learned, that she was the student government president. When I watched her, I just got very emotional because I could see the barriers that have been broken, the progress that have been made, and to be able to see my child up here representing the Black and brown. My daughter is part Black and Latina, to represent the crossover. It's a new time and a new day, and then to have her be speaking truth to power in the capacity that she could just makes my work and advocacy for all of us more worthwhile.
Okay. Yeah. Annette Loveless. I was born and raised here in Lawrence, and my family's been here for generations. In fact, my great-great-great-grandfather was in the Revolutionary War. And he's buried in Hamilton, but my great-great-grandfather is buried in Lawrence. He was also a veteran, and my dad's veteran too, and I'm on the patriotic committee. So we are planning for the 250th anniversary. Because Lawrence is such a important historical location with Hendricks Bays and so much history. And so I'm not an elected official. I'm a volunteer on the environmental committee, which I chair, and the planning board. I applied for both positions. I just downloaded the form off of the website and filled it out. Filled it in, and council met and talked and read over qualifications, and for the planning board there were also interviews as well, but they're all voluntary positions. One's a committee, one's a board. The planning board is quasi-judicial, so you're making some people developments, or if you want to build something in the township, it's that application. And so the environmental committee, one of the things we do is review site plans and then make commentary on environmental aspects of plans. So I think that's one of the most important things that committee does. And I really feel that service is important, and I just feel like part of the land and this place, which is why I wanted to get involved and hopefully have a positive impact and to bring some different kinds of expertise. I do have a background in education as well as science. In education, one of the things that was really important to me was teaching critical thinking skills and also having enough knowledge in different areas that can kind of hopefully make some sense out of nonsense and be able to look for more information, how to get more accurate information. Another area I care about is creative building, and so just to design things that are high performance, so you need to use less energy. Another thing that I thought about when you were talking, Patricia, was I also went to St. Anne's Elementary School and then graduated from Lawrence, and I love both those experiences. And I moved away, this was always my home, but I lived in Pennsylvania for a while, Philadelphia, that's where I went to school, and then I was in California for a while. But this was always my home base, so I would always come back for weeks at a time. My family's still here. And I was also, the arts are important to me too, because that's a way of communicating some things that just, you know, it's not factual, it's feelings. And I also owned a music store and love music, and I'm a musician.
Sitting there.
I know.
Political theater, so just doing something more kind of wild and crazy, but it made people think. And so it's just, you know, thinking, critical thinking skills, especially when there's so much information coming, you know, like really media literacy is super important, and always, but especially now. So I think that sums it up. Oh, I also love, you know, planning dinner, and I do a lot I love bugs, and that's one of the things I do is like collecting bugs.
We should go out to the street and collect the bugs for science.
Right, so we know how polluted our streams are, because we're looking at these little bugs. So that, I mean, that's my wrap up.
Well, I'm not that interesting.
I don't have too much to be here, but I'm Michelle Bowes, I'm the school board president. I've had the honor and privilege to be on the board since 2014. I started on the board because I had 2 kids in the school, and I had a wonderful, wonderful experience. My kids were very fortunate, and I went to board meetings, and somebody resigned, and I'm like, I guess I'll be on the school board. And I really have been blown away by my experience on the school board. I love it. I love giving back to this community. I love putting into place things that help our kids succeed. I grew up in New York City, and you can tell from the accent, I'm not a Lawrenceville resident from her. But I did spend my entire life in public school. I've had a great experience. I want every student to feel good in school, welcomed, safe, and challenged. I'm a social worker training. My 2 children have graduated. I have one who's a junior in college and one who is a carpenter. And I still feel the need to continue on the board. It's taken me this long to really understand it. And I've been the board president for about 2 years. I have been blown away by the opportunities that we have in this community for our students. I look to continue to get kids more involved in you know, civic things, be more involved with community businesses. How can we really leverage our resources in Lawrenceville so many kids leave and come back. And that tells me something that this is a special community. We have a lot of kids who go away to college to become teachers and then come back and work in our district. Nothing makes me more proud and more excited, and I know those teachers are the ones that connect so well with our students too. It's just been an honor for me. We have a lot to do over the next couple of years. I have 2 years left, in this go around, and I'm not sure if I'll run again. I say every time I'm not gonna run again, but I look at what's going on in the world and I take it as a responsibility that I have for kids, for my own children, to do more and better, to make everyone feel safe in our community, in our schools. And that's about it for me.
Thank you.
Did I say enough?
Oh, yes. So the point was to show the different backgrounds that we have, and we all blew that out of the water. And I think that really exemplifies that there is no one size fits all for coming into the government. You can be inspired by the arts, you can be inspired by the children, you can be inspired by the and you can come in and you can find a place. And a lot of times it can be tricky for people to find where their spot should be. So I really love that you guys took the time to share what those things are that you're passionate and how you're helping them. But I wonder if we can maybe talk about some of the more difficult challenges that you're facing in your role and how you're either addressing it or how you're encouraging other people to join you in that work. Is there anyone that would like to start, or I think start down here on the line?
I think just, I was thinking about this question, and then I look at this room, and I say, we're doing something right, because one of the things that I was gonna say was building community, and getting people out of their bubbles, is really important. Like when I look out at the audience at the council meeting, I'm in awe of residents that care enough to come out to, out to the town meetings and show up. That's such a big part of everything that we do. Even when they may not agree with me or the council, they still come out, they show up, they participate, and it's how I see democracy in action every time that I attend the council meeting. However it goes, I'm always thankful that people care enough about the town to show up, to challenge us when they need to challenge us, to ask the tough questions, and to hold us accountable. So I don't look at it as a challenge, I look at it as an opportunity, and I think that's what, again, goes back to what I love about our community, is that people do come out and are interested to, tonight is an example.
Yeah, and it's a skill too. I mean, it's something that we've seen across time recently. It's a skill that some people have never been exposed to, or maybe are not familiar with, or maybe they just have heard something that hasn't been playing them and go to that. And that can be a big challenge. You wanna move on to that?
Yeah, sure. So, we have challenges.
Yeah.
And so. No, so to piggyback off of what Mayor Hendricks said, we look out in our council meetings and we see a scarce crowd. I believe, from my perspective, it's because some people may have just given up on the process. They're tired of seeing what they've been seeing, and while we are making great strides and moving things forward, either to some we're not moving fast enough, or we're not meeting a particular need which may not be the priority of the administration. And it's not to put anybody to the side, it's just that we've got to undo some things that have been done, and those things didn't take overnight to do this. It didn't take a year, and no one makes excuses for anything. The facts are just the facts, and it is exactly what it is. Under my presidency, we went and put the meetings to be virtual, right? People wanted to know the virtual, but then we look at the viewers. Where are they, right? And then we have, we try to make concessions to say, we'll do it this way, it doesn't work. We have meetings in the town where council people will go out and we'll come out and we'll meet and say, come out and meet with us. and they won't come. We can only do as much as we can do, as long as we just continue to do what it is that we have to do, right? Challenges for Trenton, we're under an MOU, a memorandum of understanding with the Department of Community Affairs. So the mayor constantly plays that old game of Mother May I with DCA. Mother, may I hire these engineers to do this work? Okay, yes, you may. Mother, may I have the money that we can do this infrastructure work that's needed? No, you may not. So now how do we do things that need to be done when our hands are tied? When it came to Trenton Waterworks, I'm gonna touch it real quick and then I'm gonna look. So don't ask me anything about it. Time, feel it out. When it comes to that, you know, the DEP, the Department of Environmental Protection, says, Trenton, you need to do XYZ to make this work. They sent their people in, you know, we paid $9 million for this water intake system, but then we didn't account for the ice and all of this and that. This was your thing, and this was your fault, and now we have to eat that. So now DEP tells Trenton, you need to hire these people to do this, and you need to fix this with that. I said that the mayor has to play Mother May I with the DCA. Can we have this and that? No. So now we have two sister agencies that can't agree, and we're stuck in the middle. And so now, how do we make it work? You have a new council, we're here, we're letting things go that are needed for the water to be right, the chemicals, right? We're learning all the big words and all of the promethylpromaganates and all this other kind of stuff. And so basically, when we're asking the questions, it's, well, what does this do? Just tell us what this is for. This takes bacteria out, okay. This helps get rid of the sludge, okay. So now we're listening, yeah, it all makes sense. Let's go, 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 go. But now how can we're fixing what the former council said, no. Don't do the bacteria, what? Like, so now again, we're stuck in a place where you have two state entities that couldn't meet on the same page. You have the mayor who's trying to push the ball forward to get the work done. Yeah, we do need to hire more people that can do the work. And yes, they do need to train people that can fill in and come in and do the work. And that, from my perspective, is where the partnership with the high schools, with the VOTEC and things like that, we need to be creative in how things move. So, but that is a challenge. That is the reality in the city of Trenton. The animal shelter. It's a challenge. We've been dealing with this for the longest time, right? And then we get this property down in Columbus, and then it was a little animal hotel retreat spot. And you know, they thought that they could make that into the new shelter place to move the animals from Pennsylvania down there, right? Because we paid them like $225,000 a quarter to hold these animals in cages. But now we're told by the town in Columbus, no, you can't just make this a shelter. You have to do all of this stuff now to the little doggy place before you can even do that. Now you got people screaming, you know, paying for this, the animals, the people that breed the animals. We have the ordinance. Do we have enough enforcement? No, because we don't have the money to hire the extra police or the enforcement people that we need because our hands are tied, because we can only get what we can get. But yet the fight continues and we don't give up. And we just ask for some grace in some areas. We're asking for money in other areas, right? And that's where our collective minds have to really come together and really think about what can we each do to help make things to be better. So when you think of challenges, yeah, Trenton has challenges, but Trenton has people in position that are looking to meet those challenges and are working to help make them better.
Thank you so much for going beyond the headline of that, because a lot of us hear the small pieces of that challenge and not understand the full breadth of those challenges. So just really thank you for bringing it.
I just really feel like what she said is so accurate for the challenge of local governance, because, and I think the community never really fully appreciates the limitations that town council has or school board has. You know, not just that we have legal limitations and statutory limitations, we have actual limitations with money, we have actual limitations with resources. And I know that so many people equate these things to how a business runs, we are not businesses, and I think our challenge, I feel this on the school board all the time, is having the community understand, we can't just do whatever we want when we wanna do it.
Yeah.
We have to answer to the state, we have to sometimes answer to the federal government, right, depending on what it is. And I think so many of our challenges and so many of the things that we're trying to accomplish, there's always a bottleneck. You know, I know that you wanna do the very best for Trenton, just the way I know that I wanna do the very, very best for Lawrence Township Public Schools, and I wish I could do certain things, but we can't. And I think for, you know, local entities, having the public understand that we have a lot of limitations, and I feel in Lawrenceville, we do get a lot of grace from our community. We don't have the challenges that Trenton has on the scale that you have, but we do have challenges too. Because we're all in the same boat, we are trying to do an unlimited number of things with a finite amount of resources. And how do we prioritize them? And it's very, very difficult, because if I put this up here now, others are down below, and it's not that this is more important than this, it's just at this moment, this is more important.
Yeah.
Obviously, safety aside, I always say safety is number one, but, you know, beyond that, I think for me, that's been the biggest challenge as a school board member is, you know, how do we take care of all kids? And some kids need more than other kids.
And I love that in the beginning, you even said that you've been on the board for so long, and it's taken you until this point to understand, like, even how it works.
Yes.
Even the full nuances of how it works, and it can be really difficult. It's intimidating to just get started, to be a person who's like, I'm into my arts and my dirt, and I wanna be in government, to being a person who's expected. Right, and that is like, that's a whole nother.
You just
another
find
month.
the person, you find that person that's gonna lead you and hold you and mentor you. And depending on the circumstances that you're faced with, right? Like some of the years, it's a little bit easier than other years. We're in a very challenging time right now. Every person in government, I don't care if they're local, state, or federal, this is probably gonna be the most difficult time of anyone's life. And how do we meet the needs of the people that voted us in? I was voted in, and still abide by the law. And still make sure that the kids are safe and that the staff of the school feels safe. So I think it is a lot of, leaning on people that you know have good hearts and good minds and are authentic and honest and ask for help when you need it. I think that's really important, and that you don't know everything. It's okay.
And we have a lot of people behind the scenes that aren't seen at the front, that are doing a lot of that work, to assist us to do what the resident community are seeing. I know we're going to touch on your board, but that is also a challenge for us. Because
Yes.
we're responsible for clean water for our residents, and we're part of the pie that is part of Trenton Water Works. And it's no secret that there are municipalities that are trying to work together, because we want what's best for our residents, but we also want to support our city. I'm a big believer in that what happens in Trenton has an impact on all of us. And it needs us to do everything within our power to support our city. That is an infrastructure that is 160 years old. And as Councilwoman said, she's not the first administration to have to deal with the issues that are affecting Trenton Water Works. So we in Lawrence, along with Hamilton, Ewing, are also partnering with Trenton Water Works, because we are customers of Trenton Water Works. And so I hear from residents in Lawrence, every time that a notification goes out or something is happening. But the key thing is for us to continue to educate our communities as much as possible, and to know that we are working on your behalf, and that we are working together with our city to address that issue, which is of the utmost importance to all of us.
I'm gonna let Annette share too. Do you have a chance to share with us about some of the bigger challenges that you're facing, maybe on the planning board?
I was going to bring it down to the land use issue. and development. That's one of the biggest pressures, like how to provide safe, affordable housing for everyone, businesses, while still protecting natural resources that you have to have that protect the whole township, and our adjacent communities. For instance, we share a larger watershed, and our surface water drains into Trenton, and Trenton is a CSO community, which means that it's a combined sewer, so, if it floods, which it often does, the sewers back up and there's sewage. So we're part of that watershed that sends the water down, so that's the consideration. And we're going through what's called we have municipal land use laws, the MOUL, and that governs a lot of what a planning board can do, and a zoning board, and how you come up with, you have to have a master plan, a vision, if you have to have the goals in there so that the legislative branch, the council can write the ordinances that reflect the master plan, otherwise it's not legally sound. Decisions have to be scientifically sound, so you need good data, you need participation. And so we have an initial, you have to redo your master plan at least every 10 years. And you can do amendments also. So we had a round of, there was a questionnaire and some meetings. We have a planning person and so there's going to be another round. So it's been collecting data. So there were people coming to those meetings and like, even though it wasn't like necessarily a question on there, people were writing things down. People came with pages of stuff to share like opinions. And if you don't say something, then sometimes that isn't there. Like people think you're only having flooding in the flood zone. No, we're having flooding all over because we have so much impervious cover, hard surfaces. And we didn't have stormwater management until the 80s. And we have old plumbing because we're an old community. There's a lot of older homes in Trenton. So the issues are even more intense. Yeah, and more concentrated. Because our development happened over a period of time. But so where was I going?
How do you think the master plan make it a thing?
If I can answer that, if I can help, it's very important. Another thing that I'm talking about is the master plan, which we recently, which we're currently reviewing, and what she stated is, that's where the community engages. That is where we hear your voices, and that's why we intentionally held meetings to share with you what our thoughts were, so we can also get what your thoughts were. What are you interested in? Do you want more green space, open space? Do you want more bike paths? Do you want more trails? Do you want more affordable housing? Do you want more retail? So it is our responsibility to go to the public and ask those questions and then incorporate it in our plans of our land use. And also share with information as, you know, what she just mentioned, the DNR canal and how the watershed, how all that relates, and the 100-year flood, why we can build in certain places and not build in certain places. So all of that information is shared with the public, and we're going to hold hearing very shortly.
And you don't have to wait just for a master plan meeting. You can go to zoning board meeting, planning board meetings, council meeting. There's, I think, 13 different committees also, so depending on like your interest, they're all open to the public. You just show up. You don't even have to say you're coming. You don't have to say anything, but you can, or you can email, or you can.
One of my favorite ways I've gotten to know all of you is through some of those meetings. And I'll speak for the public in that kind of situation too. It's that giving that feedback is one part of it. Having the conversation and seeing where it goes and following through with where those things are going is a whole nother part of it. As we're seeing, as Trenton want to work to move forward, and not move forward. I can't believe we got through that section without the word referendum being said in that. We have our superintendent here as well, and we'll touch on how that's tying in as well. But there's that back and forth, and there is that continuous hope from the public and that engagement that is an obligation of us as citizens, as participants. We hold our elected officials accountable for those actions, but it is our responsibility as members of the public to ensure that we speak up, to share that opinion. It may not be the favorite one, but somebody has to say it. If nobody says it, if you don't make that comment, if you don't go to that meeting, you don't know that anybody else is. So the public is also a very important part of this. We are very lucky to have such wonderful dedicated public servants that hear that, but that is not always the case in depending on what council or board of body that you're dealing with. But just know, this is like you. So we're getting closer to 8 o'clock, and I want to leave time to talk about the vote that we're having in Lawrence Township. But before we go to that, I'm gonna give you guys one more question for us to go through as a panel. And one of the things that I love about the group of women that came together today is your connection with those community groups. Is how embedded you've been with the community. And I wanted you guys to, you've talked about it a little bit, but talk about those partnerships and collaborations on some of those issues that you have found most impactful to you. There's that ahead. Yeah.
Well, I'll just list a few that came to mind. One is obviously the Democratic Club. That is a safe place for a lifelong Democrat. And that is a safe place where we can come and have discussion about issues, about the party, about how we nominate people to run for office and things of that nature. And it's a very important place. The Republican Party has the same type of structure as well, and kind of independence to that. So that's a place where we come together. Locally, in my backyard is the Hendricks Civic League, an organization that I've been involved with most of my adult life. It's been around 75 years, 76, 77 years here in Lawrence, and they do a lot of civic work, scholarship, helping people in the community, developing, working with housing, all sorts of things, and also a new group that was born post-pandemic, which is called Lawrence Neighbors Together. It is a fantastic group of neighbors, just regular folks from all different backgrounds. We come together and we have discussions like this. We listen to what residents are interested in learning more about. Prior to the election, we looked, just one example, we looked at the Project 2025 and went over that and dissected it and helped people become more informed. And those are just kind of my touchstones.
Well, I will collaborate with anybody that wants to come in. I'm with everybody. I am the community, period, point blank. I am, that is just what it is. I was in the community before I even decided to get into politics. I've been singing in church since I was 9 years old. So when I move around to the different churches, I'm not there because it's political. I'm there because I've sang in your praise and worship team. I've been there, we have worship together, and I'm here just to pay a visit and say hello. So Isles, they do work. It's a wonderful organization. We have the Trenton Community Street Team. Great, they're into the schools and everything now. We have the Puerto Rican and Friends Community Organization that's there. We have the Latino Merchants Association that's around town. We have, yeah, a great library. Oh, okay. You want me to say that? We have a great public library on Academy Street in Trenton. We work with Mercer County Community College on things. I pull a lot of resources into the high school to partner and collaborate and bring opportunities. I went through New Jersey State Police Citizens Academy, so I could reach back and pull them in. A partnership with the New Jersey Coalition Against Human Trafficking. They're coming into the high school tomorrow to do a big presentation for our sophomores. So again, anything, anybody, look, go Trenton, the little buggy that rides around. We even got with them, and we're working something out to see about getting rides for some of our kids that have internship opportunities at the Department of Environmental Protection. So anybody that wants to collab and do something, I'm definitely open for it. I'm definitely open for making the community better. And I touch base. I'm not afraid to travel out. Y'all see, I'm here tonight, and I'm one of two from Trenton. But I'm holding on. You know, but yeah, that's what it's all about. I have a genuine love for people. And as long as I have breath in my body to serve, I will, whether I am elected or not, because it's not about the title, it's about.
That is an amazing perspective.
Yeah.
Follow.
I know. Most have gotten the most from is the Watershed Institute. It's our local watershed. So much education, so much advocacy, and also they give us equipment and training. We use their equipment to test our water. We do chemical assessments once a month, biological twice a year, we do bacterial to check for calves, harmful algal blooms, which is actually because I am a bacteria, but we do the salt testing also for the road salt. So all of that through the Watershed Institute. They also support us with grants and things like that. And they also help with parade grants for the town, because the town relies on a lot of grants actually to do some of the things that we do, like for lake restoration. That was from the 2019 grant, which is that from the Clean Water Act and federal funding. Another group is EGAC, which is the Association of the Environmental Community. So that's a chance to meet all other environmental, safety, open space community people from all over the state. And there's 564, 500 something different municipalities, and sometimes we're all doing something different. Because we're a home rule state. One of the reasons why working and doing things at the municipal level and have more power, because not power, but impact. Because you can go above and beyond, you can have different rules and regulations. It doesn't all have to be the same for everything else. And then there is the sustainable security officer. They do a lot of things. I actually put together a list of resources, but I don't have copies for everyone, so I'm gonna, clean it up a little to share with you.
Registered, you'll be on the list. So, and if you're not registered and you're not a member, you can leave your email and we make sure that you guys get the resources that will also go to the
very quickly, I do meet with anybody, anytime, all the time. I respond to our community, the most. That is my number one service that I provide is for the president. Anybody wants to talk to me, they can call me. I'm also a big advocate for the LGBT community, and I work with Friends of Equality, and Lawrence Neighbors Together, of course. And I wanted to give time really for Dr. Robin Klim to talk. So I'm not going to talk any further, but you can always reach me at the board. Lawrence is support, like Dr. Klim.
Dr. Feliciano. Because this all comes to that we've come from different places, we've worked together, we have hard challenges that we're listening to community about and trying to get through. And if you're not aware, next week, Lawrence Township is voting on its referendum to improve our middle school grounds. And Dr. Klim has come up, ma'am, to speak a little bit about how that experience has been going. And if you want to take the voting nonpartisan part and tell everybody how it's going. we love that we do that as well. Well, I mean, it's an investment in our future. I've presented at many community forums. We've been to the senior center. Some of you look familiar. You've seen me speak. The bottom line is we are trying to set up a footprint for the next 75 years for our kids. You know, this is an opportunity that is life-changing in our careers, in our community, in the infrastructure, in how we program for children and students. We need room to be able to adjust spaces. You know, our footprint at the middle school is very tight. Anyone that's matriculated through Lawrence Township Public Schools, the middle school, raise your hand if you're graduates or you've gone through, the middle school footprint really hasn't changed. I'm also a former special ed director. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I've got a doctorate in education. I come to you because mental health, education, space, learning environments, and curriculum, it can't be siloed. I can't decide this piece of the project is more important than this piece of the project, because every piece of the project has a component that is flexible and available and adaptable. And so we talk to our educators all the time about multimodal instruction. We're like, what's multimodal? That means our kids need things presented to them visually, auditorily, kinesthetically, verbally. It's the same thing with our spaces. So that same flexible mindset that we have when we build out our curriculum and our infrastructure, that is all in mind with this footprint. You know, of course, I see the commentaries, I see the rhetoric that's out there, I see some conflated opinions, which makes me sad. Because this referendum is not about, you know, anything luxurious for our kids. It's about giving educators the space to be able to flexibly plan and pull small groups and provide an academic day that our kids deserve. This is about valuing education in a community that always comes back to serve. Jen Waltz, her communications manager, she's here to serve. Every opening day for New Teacher Academy, we stand in a sea of red. We all wear our red as the Lawrence Township administrators. And everybody raises their hands and says, how many people graduated from Lawrence Township? They come back. Our police chief, he came back. So I'm here to tell you that this footprint, again, will allow us to adapt and modify now what our kids need, as well as continue to grow for the future and beyond. We cannot afford to do more of the same. The kids' needs are changing. We've got a design and a space gap. Where it sort of bottlenecks us. We talk about challenges. Our challenge is a space. And people say, do we need space in the community? Absolutely. You cannot ask a teacher to pull small group instruction and be working with dividers and not private areas and working with children. And how about our school counselors and our related service providers? They don't have the appropriate spaces to treat our children and give them, quite frankly, the confidential space that they need, especially as they get older. Our kids are struggling, and it is our job to make sure we have the space and the academic rigor to meet all of their needs within the district. I do have the tiniest little footprint. Tiny girls.
I just wanted to add something. Dr. Lynn is the superintendent of schools for Lawrence Township. She's been here about 2 years now.
Okay.
I've been on the board long before her, so I can say that we have been studying ways to improve academic excellence and achievement for a long time. And we set and the board hired Dr. Flynn to look at how we could do better for our kids. How could we meet the needs of all of our students? And after a very long, extensive process of community engagement, our teachers' engagement, our students, the board, we came up with this plan. And I would say it is a daunting project, but I feel 100% confident that this will be something that will change this community for the better, for the future, to provide for all students in the district. The vote is on Tuesday. If you haven't seen our signs, you can vote in person at your normal polling booths. We're not telling you to vote yes. What we're saying is research and understand if you're going to vote, what you're voting for and what it means for this community. It is not just about our kids. Better schools is better community. It creates economic stability. It creates a sense of community. We'll also have places for community members to hold meetings that we don't have at the moment. The benefits are vast If you go to the Lawrence Township Public School website, there's a referendum tab, you can see how much it costs, break down how much it's gonna cost you based on your assessed value of your home. Not the market value, not the Zillow value, but the assessed value. It basically comes down to $1 a day. If your house's assessed value is about $300,000, we have a table outside with some information on it. Feel free to reach out to me at mose@ltps.org.
I'm just throwing the table, we're
Yes.
friends of mine, I know.
Yes.
Today, what has been amazing about watching the process is how much you have committed to engaging the public on the process. And if you're a member of the public who does not feel like you've had the opportunity to talk about the referendum, I don't think I believe you at this point, because you've been under a rock, because you've been out, the point that you've been out there and really made the commitment to have the conversation, and we very much applaud that. But I want, in the couple of minutes that we have, I want to take a pause and look around us and see if there's anyone here who has questions. Because this is geared to people who maybe have not had this opportunity or been involved in this way. So there are no like bad questions or silly questions. It is really, we want to know what you want to know. This was like the best guess of like, okay, well, like if I wasn't someone who's gone to the meeting, if I didn't know you through all of these things, if I had never seen you, what would I want to talk to you about? And so what you've heard is really what I wanted to talk to you about, and you guys have been willing to talk about. But there is an option, if anybody would like to ask a question.
I have a question, from the planning board. My question is, are we planning any more, development in the township?
Well, you can always go to, the applications that come in are in the engineering section, and you can see all the active applications. So that's a place that you can go. Another thing to know, well, where can things be built or not? You can look at the zoning map. And then there's certain places where you can't build because of the wetlands, you have a floodplain. So I don't know if that really answers your question.
The redevelopment committee is the one kind of tasked with looking if there's any further development, because Lawrence Township, I thought, because we can build out, and so in the neighborhood, being said.
Yeah, we can always have it.
Right, redevelopment.
We are, working on a redevelopment process that has been approved for 31 for development.
Yeah, okay.
So that's curious, yeah. But it exists in structure.
Yes, sir.
I have a very general question. You're talking about what you're doing. Now, something is so huge and difficult to like, how do you get your legal advice? How do you get your technical?
Can you just repeat that
Could you
question?
Get legal versus technical information
Well,
or advice.
on council, we have attorneys. So we have, several attorneys, but one specific attorney is a council attorney that you see at all of our meetings. And he advises us not only during council meetings, but anything legal. And then we have experts, engineers, planners, professionals, anybody who that paved the road, it's all listed. And we're in budget season now. That's the quickest way to see what all of our professionals that are hired by the town.
In some organizations, you have to law, the fees, but I don't know anything, but never. If somebody doesn't know who this are. So what is the role of the personal relations between the elected officials and the actual engineers, lawyers, and other people? How do you know when you want to call someone engineer? And whether there are people who come to you, or what is the level of the personal relations that people?
So, and actually, we could see two different forms of government, in Trenton and Lawrence.
So you speak for yours.
Easy answer.
In Lawrence Township, our township manager, runs day-to-day operations. So he's in the building in town hall with a staff of, I guess it would include 100 people or so, which also includes our police department. So, but in the town hall, you would come in, you would see the engineer's office, you would see the clerk's office where you, interact, the public interacts, you would see the tax assessor, you would see the health department, and you would see the financial, CFO of the town. So all of the professionals are in the one building, and then you have the police in the other building with a police chief managing about 50 or so police officers. So whenever you want to interact with a professional, you would just simply come to town hall, you come to the front desk, and also we have the planning board also is there. And the zoning folks, and the construction folks, if you're gonna have something inspected in your home. So for professionals, for the public, all you need to do is come to town hall, you go to the front desk, and they direct you to whatever it is that you're looking to do in the town. You could also go on the website and it'll list the information. So what my personal relationship with that is not, I don't interact with them on a day-to-day basis. Just me, but we are responsible for the budget and how it's done.
So was your question, how do you interact with the people, or how do we interact with the people? So in Trenton, we have the mayor, council form of government, the mayor is CEO of the city of Trenton. We have to go through a liaison, a city council liaison, to ask questions of the directors and everything. So if we want to know something, I would send an email to the liaison who is assigned, and I would CC the business administrator, so someone can see what we're asking. They then take that email and forward it to the proper director, who then would talk to the staff about what's going on. So because of our form of government, now as a constituent in the city, so as a taxpayer in the city, if I have to go to the tax office, I could talk to them about my property. But if you come and complain to council about your property, I have to go through the liaison, who has to send it to the director, who has to talk to the staff to get the question, because then we would be violating the act. So that's how we deal.
We're gonna do the same with the school.
So,
I just wanted to add something to what you were saying
Yes.
before, when you presented your work, because you said that you don't have enough communication with the constituents, somebody comes to the meeting. And then you were describing what's happening, they said, well, like, I'm here for a strict for a sick for.
Yeah.
Like, it's totally sick for, if somebody was creative enough to make a sick problem, you would get a lot of attention.
Yeah, it's
It's
interesting, I mean, and then to that point, you know, what becomes a little, I would say frustrating, I guess, is that because the people don't come to the meeting to hear what's happening, because they won't tune in virtually to see or hear what's happening, they don't hear the explanations that are being given or the things we're asking, and then it becomes, well, they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
We are doing everything. What you for us? To be a part of the process, to hear what's happening, right? And then there's conversations that happen that you won't know about, because you can't know about.
Right.
Or when we're in executive session, it's quiet, so we can hear things, but we can't discuss it outside of it because of the legal implications that are going on with it, but we're aware, so it makes it kind of tough. So when we're saying, go to the administration, it's not that we're blowing anyone off, it's that we honestly can't answer the question, you have to go to the administration.
And that is set up as a protector. It's to create checks and balances. Otherwise, we would potentially put influence in the wrong way, or get ourselves in a legal situation that we protect the council or the board so that we're not sued or subjected to, things going wrong. That's why we hire the professionals to do the day-to-day. And we,
I'll have a comment from the gallery, but
How can an ordinary citizen, maybe one who holds a full-time job, say a parent, how can they afford to serve as a volunteer on one of Lawrence or Trenton's committees?
I'm a single parent,
yeah.
and it's does take some commitment.
Well, you use the word commitment, but both on your behalf and Michelle's too. I mean, how many hours a week are you talking about?
As chair, a bit more, and I also review site plans too, and that could take me sometimes at least 20 hours over the period of a number of weeks and to do the research. And so part of the key is to have a committee and volunteers and just people coming by once in a while to lend additional expertise or support so that it's a shared responsibility.
Like a school board service, I understand, is very time consuming.
Very demanding of her.
You know, I think it depends, there's a lot of variables that are involved, and some school board members are more involved than others, and that's fine. We have 9 people on our board, we also operate under the committee structure. So we try to, you know, dole out the work, so to speak. For it's been a lot in the more recent years. Robin is a new superintendent, we had the referendum. I really, really believe what we're doing is absolutely critical, so I will do everything I possibly can do to help it succeed. Much to my family and husband's dismay, it is an unpaid position, but, you know, for me personally, the gain is bigger, and I think that's the thing that matters when we do positions like this. We're not doing this for the notoriety or the congratulations, we do it because it really means something to help people, like, and it's really one of the most effective ways, like, even when I feel like nothing is happening, you know, a student who was struggling is graduating and comes up to me and gives me a hug on the stage. That matters to me, so to me, the time is worth it, I get so much more out of it than I put into it. And you have to know what you're doing, you know, you have to know what you're getting yourself into, like, I try to be super honest with people, when you do a public service job like this, it is not, you know, 2 hours a week, it's what you need, I gotta do it, so I find the board to be.
My house is messy.
Thank you.
You don't
Socialize, you know.
I would say though, but it's not totally daunting. You can definitely dip your toe in and pick one committee and, you know, the meetings, the meeting, it's once a month. For example, I didn't know that, I created there's a task force that currently is working on the community center. And the commitment is once a month, maybe you're doing a meeting, which is max 2 hours or something like that. But then there are other people that are also working. So it's just a matter of sharing the load and what you're willing to put into it. So you can do as little as 2 hours a month to 20 hours if you want to dig a little deeper. But definitely you can dip your toe in and
Obviously, it will be last. Your time.
How do you manage to do it
all?
all? And tell me. I know.
We all know she's got it. I'm like Nike. I'm high energy. That's just what it is. And so again, I love to move here, there, everywhere. I'm around. I move from place to place. I'm also in the media as well. I'm with Patricia's Breaking News in Trenton. We have close to 70,000 followers. So I'm out and about in the streets, and people wonder, but I met my time, and I met exactly where I'm going, and I know exactly how long I'm going to be there. So I can hit 5 or 6 places in a day, and people wonder, how does she do it? I travel alone. I don't have anyone with me because I don't move on anyone's time but my own. And I just get into what I need to do and I just move. I answer my constituents about what they need. They have a certain way that we connect with each other. I make sure that they send me emails so that I can memorialize everything. I was an auditor and investigator for 28 years of my life. I believe in procedure and protocol. So I have directives that I give to everybody so that we can engage effectively. I don't go to everything. I can't be everywhere. But when I say that I will be somewhere, I will show up and I will be present and give the very best that I can. So it's all about time management.
right? And my day starts, I'm up at 5:15 in the morning. I have to be to school, have to be in my office at the high school at 7 a.m. And being a teacher leader is different than a teacher. I work from 7 a.m. until 3 p.m. when I walk out the door. But, you know, it's refreshing and it's great. And then I put my council hat on at 3 o'clock. The city of Trenton is mine, right? And then I have to go through all of that, right? And then I'm here, and I was someplace else before I came here tonight, and I was someplace else before I was there, before I came there and here tonight, right? But that's just how it works. It's all about time, it's about time management and your passion.
Thank
And I'm
you.
passionate about
You have to love what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you don't get tired. You don't get tired if you enjoy what you're doing.
I'm tired.
So. I will say is that when I talk to people, I know kindergarten, so the last, thank you for sharing that. You set the bar very high, and I don't want people to be intimidated by how much you all do. But I appreciate how much you shared about your experience and what has brought you here. When I talk to people about like who are just unsure of what they want to do or how to get involved, just find a thing, just find one thing. It might snowball into something, but if you have questions, everybody just wants everyone to help understand and us to move forward. So I greatly appreciate you all sharing your time and your stories with us. I thank the library and my lead team for supporting this vision.